going to do first? My Fair Lady. You want to do My Fair Lady first? You like that show, right? Okay.
All right, so let's ask our questions about My Fair Lady first, okay? So, and then we'll repeat the questions for Camelot. So, number one.
I have to wear my Eliza hat to listen.
Ooh.
Yes?
So Maxine, number one.
Number one, and stand up so she can see you.
Who did you play the musical?
Who do you think I played? Do you think I played with Mrs. Higgins, or you think maybe I played Eliza Doolittle? What do you think? Oh, you think so? Well, what makes you think that? What?
Raise your hand, raise your hand.
What makes you think? What makes you think that I might know a little bit about Eliza Doolittle? You darling.
That you speak in a Cockney accent.
That's right, and I appear to know how to speak like a Cockney. You know what? I can talk like this. I can talk like this because I was taken to school in London when I was 22, and I got the part. And then what they did is they put me in school with a woman named Joan Washington. And Joan Washington was really interesting. She was a teacher who could teach you how to talk different from your normal voice. She was like Professor Higgins, but in the real world. So I learned all about how to talk different. And you know what? She always wore men's clothing. It was very interesting. I went to her house and I took the subway, right? And I came into her house and I thought, this is so weird. She came down the stairs and she was in a full suit, dressed like a man. And she was my teacher. So every day I sat down with her in the living room and she told me to talk different, to talk like this. The voice. Eliza is all about the voice. When she learns how to speak and when her voice changes and she presents herself very differently and she learns how to talk like a proper lady, she seems like a very different person. She seems calmer, she seems more wealthy perhaps, she definitely seems less, down to earth, a little more proper, but she's really the same person on the inside. She has the same feelings, and that's the whole point of My Fair Lady, is her voice. We're going to sing soon, I think. Yep. So Eliza goes outside the house, and the first thing she does is she bumps into Freddie, and now Freddie is reading all these poems. And he's in his own thing. He starts to sing, all these things speak, and the world is full of singing. And he sees her, and he's all talking, and he's speaking poems to her. Is she in a good mood or in a bad mood? So if she bumps into a guy who's reading poems, do you think she wants to stop and hear all about his poems?
No.
No, she's in a really bad mood. So I remember singing this song in a very bad mood, and I also remember at the end, I pushed him down on the floor, and I finished the song with my foot on his stomach. And I sing a really high note. I was not in a good mood, okay? So will you play Freddie for me? Yeah, you stand up. And I want you to be pretending that you're reading all these poems. You stand over here a little bit. That's what we stage logic, is that the audience wants to see that. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, so I'm gonna grab it from you. Don't be surprised. Okay, because am I in a good mood or in a bad mood? Bad mood. Okay, so am I in a good mood or in a bad mood? Bad mood. Words, I'm so sick of words. I get words all day through, first from him, now from you. Is that all you the lightness can do? Talk of stars burning above. If you're in love, show me. Tell me no dreams filled with desire. If you're on fire, show me. Here we are together in the middle of the night. Don't talk of spring, just hold me tight. Anyone who's ever been in love will tell you that this is no time for a chat. Haven't your lips longed for my touch? Don't say how much. Show me, show me. Don't wait until wrinkles and lines pop out all over my brow. Show me now. Maybe sit down, don't worry. Sing me no song, read me no rhyme. Don't waste my time. Show me. Don't talk of June. Don't yeah, that's right. Okay, here we go. Never do I ever want to hear another word. There isn't one now I haven't heard. Here we are together in what ought to be a dream. Say one more word and I'll scream. Haven't your arms hungered for mine? Please don't explain. Show me, show me. Don't wait until wrinkles and lines pop out all over my brow. Show me Does that mean to just be a bully and just be violent, do whatever you want? Or does that mean to fight if you have to fight, but do something that's going to make the world a better place, right? So you can be tough, but you got to use your might for right. I've often known when kids are a little like you and they want to be tough and they're pushing and all this stuff, if you have a strong personality, even in first grade, you can use your strong personality to make the world better. You can use, if let's say girls are fighting or boys are fighting and you're a little bit of a fighter type, use your strong personality to make things better. Don't get more shy and quiet just because you know fighting is bad. Use your strongness, your strength to make things better. So you want to keep your strength, but you don't want to become trouble in the world. And you don't want to be mean and a bully. You want to use your might for right. Isn't that amazing? And there's the signature. The amazing original book signed by the writer. And this is the book where Camelot was inspired from, the book that it was inspired from, that gave Lerner Loewe all those great ideas about justice and who King Arthur is and who Guenevere is and who Lancelot is. So this is the book. Now at the very end of the play, things do not work out. The country of Camelot is very calm and very respectful, and their knights do a very good job keeping the world in order, and they do things that are good, but war breaks out. Guenevere makes a mistake or falls in love with Lancelot and has two people who she loves in her life, and women really aren't allowed to have two men in their life, at least in those at that time. And so she sort of broke the law. So it was a complicated story, and Camelot did not live forever. But at the very end, King Arthur, his whole world has come apart. England is a mess, everything is a mess, and he feels heartbroken. And he runs into a boy your age, a first-grade boy, and he tells the little boy something. Put it like this: there was a king once called King Arthur. That is me. When he came to the throne of England, he found that all the kings and barons were fighting against each other like madmen. And as they could afford to fight in expensive suits of armor, there was practically nothing which could stop them from doing what they pleased. They did a lot of bad things because they lived by force. Now, this king had an idea, and the idea was that force ought to be used, if it were used at all, on behalf of justice, not on its own account. Follow this young boy. He thought that if he could get his barons fighting for truth and to help weak people and to redress wrongs, then their fighting might not be such a bad thing as once it used to be. So he gathered together all the true and kindly people that he knew, and he dressed them in armor, and he made them knights, and he taught them his idea, and he set them down at a round table. There were 150 of them in the happy days, and King Arthur loved his table with all his heart. He was prouder of it than he was of his own dear wife. And for many years, his new knights went about killing ogres and rescuing damsels and saving poor prisoners and trying to set the world to rights. That was the king's idea. I think it was a good idea. And then the little boy says, I think it was a good idea, my lord. So that's the kind of thing that you could read someday, is all about this man's dreams. And this is the original book where the first ideas come. And it's really interesting. And they used to dress like that, like knights. That's really what this is about. And this is the first book. So,
Right here's the song.
Before I gaze at you again, I'll need a time for tears. Before I gaze at you again, let hours turn to years. I have so much forgetting to do before I try to gaze again at you. Stay away until you cross my mind, barely once a day, till the moment I awake and find I can smile and say that I can gaze at you again without a blush or qualm. My eyes are shine like new again, my manner poised and calm. Stay far away, my love, far away, till I forget I gazed at you
All I want